If you didn't know, I hate minion builds. I hate them so much that I made a minion build that blows up my minions whenever I summon them. This is what you can expect from a build like this. Minion explosions? Check. Explosions that cost more explosions? Check. Bunch of slave minions that do my bidding and take all the damage for me? Check. Dummy thick aura debuff bot, anime guardian with over 100,000 HP? A check. Cast when damage taken, spellcast loop? A check. Oh, did I mention this build also kills itself? Wait, what? Oh, don't worry, it can also heal itself. If you don't play like an idiot. Okay, but most importantly, is there damage? Chase his ass. Chase him. Oh, check. So yeah, what's up, you beautiful people? It's Kogi here again. Now, I already made a video about this build about a week ago concerning all the 200 IQ plays from the explosions that cost other explosions to the dummy thick 100k HP anime guardian to the crazy damage the build outperforms. But the build is incredibly complicated and intricate, so I'm not going to cover that crap again because honestly it took way too damn long. So if you guys are more interested in how the build performs from a theory craft level, I highly recommend you watch that other video. The link will be down below for you guys to watch it. I highly recommend it so you understand the gist of the build, because in this video we're just going to cover the items, the gems, and the leveling stats, maybe everything that's not how the build performs, because that took half an hour by itself. So it's not going to be too long of a video, but I do stream on Twitch every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at twitch.tv/Kogaras. The link will be down below, including my Discord if you guys want to join. I have 2 builds in progress, or I guess completed progress for YouTube, that are absolutely insane and are going to blow your socks off, so I hope you guys enjoy that. So if you're interested in the YouTube content to come, please make sure to subscribe. And if you like this video, please leave a like for the YouTube algorithm. I really appreciate it. And with that, let's go into a quick boss montage, and then we'll get into the details. See you guys there. Chase his ass. Chase him. Summon everything. Have fun. Strike. Fuck, I'm to call strike. Oh, we got an awakened orb. Yeah, that was really clean. The damage is great, dude. The damage is really fucking good. Now, welcome back, guys. Let's go right into the gist of the build and the gear. My character is a Necromancer called Suicide Skellies, level 90. Now, the whole point of the build is, of course, to summon skeletons that degen and then blow up. And then they have so much life that from minion instability, they do an F-ton amount of damage. And, of course, we can use boss summon skeletons to summon an armada, or like literally an army of skeletons, to just blow up one by one. And there's a general inside that army that does a lot of damage because he has significantly more HP than the other ones. How much, I do not know, but it's enough to take a humongous chunk of the boss's HP, whatever boss you're fighting. So very, very nice. And the way this happens is using summon skeletons linked with Infernal Illusion. Makes them take 40% of their maximum life per second as fire damage. Now, there's an alternate quality in Heist. If you're in Heist, you can do this with that quality. I forget which one it's called, but it does make them take an additional 10%. So it goes up to 40 to 50. We combine that with Arendel's Embrace, and they take an additional 30% if you get a good roll. Up to here, it goes from 15 to 30. Try to get as high as 30 as possible. They're incredibly cheap, so it shouldn't be too hard for you. And with that, they take 70-80% of their maximum life per second, and they blow up literally very, very quickly, and causing minions' ability to, you know, cause them to explode once they go into low life range, which is 33% of their life. Now, we can abuse this with Maligaro's Lens with Necromantic Aegis. The node here makes our shield apply to our minions instead of us, so our minions now have -50 to all resistances, so they have less fire rest to mitigate the degen, so they blow up quicker. It also gives them AoE, you know, and more life for, of course, the damage scaling. And the cool factor is nearby allies recover 1% of the maximum life when you die. So then up here is, since I am an ally, when my citizens die, I get HP, my other minions HP, including my Animate Guardian and my zombies. So we have to be nearby so we can just be far away, and you see us start taking damage. Nothing too crazy because I do have some mitigation stuff, right? But if you're nearby, I start healing. And that's the whole notion of play smart and you're fine. But of course, if you use a Granite Flask, right, here you go, you will not take any damage because we have so much Fizz mitigation. Right, on top of that, we also have Bone Armor to mitigate the damage for us. So if ever in case you need to, you know, run away, you have those two options for you at all times in order to mitigate that damage. Right. Now, the way we skill is in the skill tree is, of course, getting more life and minion maximum life and minion damage. That's pretty much it. We can't get fire damage. We can't get AoE damage. We can't get increased area effect like here, because if it doesn't say minion, it won't work. And that's the whole gist of, you know, minion builds. So the entire tree is just minion nodes up the wazoo. We are Mind Over Matter, of course, to, you know, mitigate the damage taken from the ring. I'll go into that later on, but that's also another video if you want to check it out. But very quickly, we do our Mind Over Matter. Bone Armor is a guard skill, so this gives us a crap ton of mana regen when we use it. So you guys can see here. Let me just take a lot of damage. Right? And by popping Bone Armor, I regen all my mana back up. Right? Combine that. Let me heal real quick. Combine that with Battle Rouse, where it says 10% of damage taken against mana. The ring does make us take damage, so this allows us to get a little bit of that damage as a mana regen. Very, very nice. As for Cluster Jewels, the most important thing really is just the medium jewels giving you Hulking Corpses. And Dread March is the other one, but as long as you get Hulking Corpses and whatever node that gives you minion damage, minion life, I'm okay with. And for your jewels, you really just want Abyss Jewels because they're the only jewels that can roll with life. Minion have maximum life, and minions deal increased damage if you use the minion skill recently. Unfortunately, I don't think you can get minion life, and minion damage on a normal jewel. Another cool thing is Fortress Covenant gives you a whopping 40% increased damage to, for minions, and this does work. And the only downside to this is that notables and radius move or transform to minions take increased damage. This sounds nice, but we don't want this because the issue with this is we have other minions we want to keep alive. I'll go over that later when I go over the skill gems. But if you put in a cluster jewel, that radius does not work, and the damage still works. You see here, you have 5,700 DPS, but now we have a total of 6,100 due to spiritual weight affecting us. So it's very, very nice. Now, the cool thing about this is that we do have Ascendancy Gentle Touch, so that when we kill something, they explode. The only issue is that these things are absurdly expensive. But the reason why these work in this build specifically is that these are the only way to get explosions in minion builds, because all explosion modifiers usually say enemies killed by you, and we're not killing things, our minions are. But this only says enemies killed near corpses affected by your curses explode, so that's the only prerequisite. So by using some Instigator bots, as you guys can see here, the little worm look things, right? If we put it in our left ring slot and we put a curse in there, we have flammability because it does do fire damage, right? Arsh, your chilling scare bot, now becomes a curse bot, and when he curses things and, you know, things die, the corpses have curses due to, you know, Ascendancy Gentle Touch, and that will cause them to explode. So even the temp chains on hit, don't even worry about it. The only way we can do that is by Orb of Storms, and we're not going to be putting that on the floor all the time. That's only really there for Elemental Equilibrium. So when we put it down, it only does lightning damage over here. It's only lightning damage. Elemental Equilibrium will make them take additional fire damage, since now they have -50 to fire, which is the opposite element. So that's pretty much the gist of the video, the build. I'm not going to go into intricate stuff. I'll go over the other items later on. But if you want the intricate details, please go watch the other video, because oh my god, I'll be here all day again. Right, so let's go on with our Ascendancy. Our Ascendancy is, of course, is a Necromancer. We have first Ascendancy is minus aggression, then we go unnatural strength. The more this gives you plus level of minion gems. The higher the level, the more life they have, just of that. Bone Barrier gives us Bone Barrier, which is nice. Physical damage reduction for the ring damage taken. But most importantly, minions have 20% increased more maximum life, which is a more multiplier to damage, because that's basically how we're getting our damage. Here, you basically have the option of Mistress of Sacrifice or Plaguebringer. This is where the ring comes in handy. If you consume the course recently, we have AoE. For me, my minions have AoE, and that's a cool part. It says minions. It has to work like that. But if we have a nearby corpse, minions and I do 10% more damage, so the explosions do 10% more damage, and we take 10% reduced damage. The way we can make this work is by using our Bound Loop Ring, so that we take 350 physical damage taken on minion death, and then by using caster damage taken Desecrates and Flesh Offering. So when I summon the skeletons, right, they will proc an offering, and the other one will do a Desecrate. So now we have corpses, which gives us the damage taken, the more damage multiplier from Plaguebringer, and we get Flesh Offering to give our minions more attack speed and movement speed, just so they can hit things more often. Right, and that way they always get in range. And that's pretty much the gist of that, but you can go Mistress Sacrifice if you want that movement speed for yourself instead of the damage and the AoE. That's up to you. That's just a personal take. But at this point, if you're really not using Plaguebringer, then you don't even need the ring. But if you pick Mistress Sacrifice, you might as well just use the ring anyway. Right, so that pretty much covers the tree. Right, now moving on to your, gear and gems. Our weapon, of course, is Erminose Embrace for that. Skeletons take 30% of their maximum life per second as fire damage. Very, very important. What's cool about this is that summon skeletons have Avatar of the Fire. That means 50% of their physical damage, because they do deal physical damage when they hit something, is now converted to fire. And this is very important because that means they can ignite. And with a combustion gem, since main instability does fire damage, this gives us more fire damage, but also gives us our skeletons a chance to ignite. And if they ignite, they reduce their res by -19 fire. Very, very nice. So I highly recommend that. And they do have cover enemies and ash on hits. That's why I put Flesh Offering, so they can just, move to the enemy quicker with increased movement speed, and they have increased attack speed, so they attack quicker. So they can guarantee this, and this way they take 20% increased fire damage. I believe it's 20%, but it makes them take increased fire damage, which is a more multiplier. It's a very, very nice scepter, super dirt cheap. Honestly, don't even using this. Right, and here we have Second Wind with Flame Dash, so we can cast more times. And Phase Run. It also affects by Second Wind to give us a increased lore of a reduced cooldown. So we just keep Phase Running as much as we want, which is nice because with it Quicksilver and everything, we zoom a lot. It's a nice increase in clear speed. As for your helmets, you want a Bone Helmet, best in slot helmet, because it does give minions deal 20% increased damage. It can be expensive though, so if it's not in your budget, don't worry about it. It's get a normal helmet. But you want to slam these with Essences of Fear, at least Screaming or higher. That way, it says here, armor and your belts have a chance, not have a chance, but when you slam it, it gives you the mod minions have increased maximum life, which is basically a damage modifier. So might as well take advantage of it, and they're very cheap. No one really uses them. So here you just want life, res, and then the minions have increased maximum life. Now, I did make this in Harvest, so if you want to go the extra mile, you go Warlord modifier and try to get nearby enemies have -9 to fire resistance. This is incredibly difficult, and I don't recommend it. So I either say slam with essences until you get maximum life, or slam with fossils until you get with the fire fossil, scorch fossil, with the pristine fossil to get increased maximum life. To get life for yourself, the 93 to maximum life. That way you can get the -9 fire. Good luck trying to get both of them. I don't think it's possible anymore. It is obviously if you meta crap, but it's gonna cost you many exalts. So to make it cheap, just go either maximum life or the -9 fire. Pick one or the other. Right. Here we have, of course, our cast damage taken, like I said earlier, Flesh Offering, Desecrates, and cast damage taken. And then our last little link here by itself is summon Carrion Golem. I have him by himself because he has so much HP. He's like 51,000 HP that I kind of prefer just having him. And he's just there for fun. You can put whatever you want there, honestly, but nothing else really works. And he does give my minions a little bit of damage, so why not? Right. As for your shield, Malagaro Lens, irreplaceable. You can't do anything but this shield. It's amazing. Try to get a good roll on the maximum life, right? And this gives all of our minions -50 all res, so it makes your skeletons burn quicker. Don't worry, it doesn't affect you, but it also gives you the AoE, the maximum life, and of course the heal. Here we have Arcane Surge with Orb of Storms. You're wondering, why do I have Arcane Surge there? Simple being is that it gives mana regen. That is literally it in cast speed, so I can cast faster. The spell damage doesn't affect you, or it doesn't affect the minion, so don't even worry about that. And then the last little link we have here is Summon Skitter Bots, or a little bot that I mentioned earlier with Profane Proxy. Now, yes, I know that we're mind over matter, so you really want to reserve that. But if you go by the rule of mind over matter, in order to have enough mana where our mana doesn't go before our life, you want to make sure that you die before you run out of mana. Because if your mana goes out before your life, then you're just sitting there with nothing to cast. in that situation, you want to make sure that you have at least 43% of your life as mana. So times 4,125. And that equals roughly around 1,770 mana that you need. And we have 1,800 after reservation. So we're good enough. And any more is just pointless anyway towards Mind Over Matter. So that covers that. As for your gloves, these are, of course, exorbitant amount right now. I don't understand why they're so expensive in Heist. I apologize, but the nice part is this is not needed. I'm just addicted to explosions. So in this scenario, don't buy them. You don't really need it. Honestly, just get, slam these essences on a pair of gloves to get more maximum life. And just use whatever you want. Life resistances and whatever you think is nice. This is rare, honestly. I don't think there's another unique you can probably use. But I can't say it. I can't control it because I did this in Harvest and these things were nowhere near as expensive in Harvest. So I apologize for that. But here we want Elemental Army, Raise Zombie, Minion Life, and Feeding Frenzy. What this does now is when we are zombies, they have a lot of life due to Minion Life. Each zombie has roughly 66,000 HP, which is absolutely insane. Right? Now they have Feeding Frenzy, so they're aggressive. So when they attack something and they hit them, we have a chance to get Feeding Frenzy, giving us more minion damage, which does affect the explosion. And then when they hit, right, they inflict exposure of whatever damage type they have. And since I have a little bit of fire damage here, right, our zombies do deal a little bit of fire damage, and I think that's the only element that we really have, especially with all our minus fire res. That's definitely going to be the highest in exposure inflicted, so they're going to lose 10% fire towards the enemy, right, to debuff, which is really, really nice. And it does give them some resistances to offset the shield. Your boots are just going to be a life res and movement speed. You want a Animate Guardian buffed as hell with minion life, meat shield, so they're always around you and it gives them more life. And then Elemental Army just for the resistances to counteract the shield. And here we have 104,000 maximum life, right? If you have like all the +1 things that I have, right? Oh, actually, no. You just need level 21 Animate Guardian because the +2 comes from the Ascendancy. Now, your Animate Guardian wants Belly of the Beast for more maximum life. You want Southbound gloves for more maximum life. Let's see if I can get them from my chest over here so you guys can check it out. Okay, so here we go. He has the Belly of the Beast. That's what you see. Just more maximum life and resistances, which is quite nice. Southbound for, again, a bunch of cold res and as much increased maximum life as possible. Try to get a max roll of 16%. And he does have Victorious Flight because it makes nearby allies have 10% increased movement speed, which you guys can see up here. Victorious Flight, you have you and your allies have increased movement speed, which is a little buff. And for your helmet, this is very important. We do have Eye of Malice. I don't have it on me right now in the stash. And Eye of Malice makes our nearby enemies have, I say, have 50% increased fire and cold resistance. You might think, why would you want that when the build does fire damage? Well, think about it like math. If you multiply a negative number, it becomes a bigger negative number. So the helmet basically multiplies their res by 1.5. So if you do the math, Shaper has 50% resistances, right? Minus 50 from Elemental Equilibrium, minus 10 from Elemental Army, minus 9 from the helmet, right? Minus 19 from Combustion. And then on top of that, what else do we have? Flammability with increased curse effectiveness, so say it's like minus 15. So he has minus 53 resistances, and then you multiply times 1.5 due to the helmet. And now it's minus 80. So the helmet really gives us like 26% penetration, which is absolutely insane. And it's a debuff. It says nearby enemies. So when the Animate Guardian has it, you can see here, if you can walk over here, it'd be nice. It's that little, fire and ice helmet that he's wearing right there. There you go. Perfect. Thank you, Animate Guardian, for standing still. And he has that axe over there, which is the combination of Soul Taker and Heartbreaker, which gives us Fortify, which is really nice to help mitigate the ring. And on top of that, it does give Calling Strike, so that our Overstorms or even our Explosions or Skeletons does, call the enemy for 10% of their life, which is very, very nice to kill bosses quicker. So that's why he's such a buff, freaking dummy thick, kind of like a buff bot, which is really, really cool. So I highly recommend that. Right, for your chest piece, it looks overkill. Blame Harvest. You don't need the +1 to socket active gems, but if you want a Conquer modifier, that is the one you want to go for. But if you want something cheap, just slam this essence on a body armor and just get life and resistances. And then if you have an open prefix, craft life and mana, which only costs like 2 chaos or something like that, right? But this chest piece is absolute overkill. I'm like way overcapped on resistances. It's not even needed, bro, but you get the point. So here is Summon Skeletons, Infernal Legion. Try to get a level 21 on the Vol Summon Skeletons. They shouldn't be too expensive, especially with like everything wanting the alternate quality, right? You don't even need quality on these damn things, so you just get that. You want Infernal Legion, minion life, minion damage, combustion, and then concert effect, and you swap out for AoE for clear. It makes the explosion bigger. It's quite nice. For For your belts, you just want life, resistances. Try to slam them with, again, essences of fear as much as possible, so you get increased maximum life. And I don't know if I need the strength. You do need the strength for... You don't need strength. The strength is for the astral plate. So don't even worry about the strength. It's life and resistances, right? And then slam the essences. And for, again, Abyss Jewel, just try to get life, minion damage, and minion increased maximum life. But that's Ring, Profane Proxy, put Flammability, put on your left one so we can still shock the enemy, because that way the right Summon Skitter bot makes the enemy take an additional 50% increased damage from the shock. So keep that. The chill one honestly it's not that important. We have 10 chains from or over storms. Hardbound loop. I already went over it a bunch of times. Really good ring, super cheap. For your amulets, it looks busted. Blame, of course. Harvest. Well, all you really want is maximum life, whatever resistances. You do need a little bit of strength, dexterity, and I think intelligence. And the only modifier that I can really get from here was +1 to all just intelligence gems. That way, you know, we get a +1 from 2 or 7 skeletons, but it's really not required at all. It's again overkill only for the sake of harvest. It was really easy to do. Otherwise, the only other intelligence, or I mean the other ammo you can use probably is just like a Solstice Vigil from Shaper himself, and that'll give you a little bit of damage and make your temp chains free, so you can have another aura. But we wouldn't be able to fit it anywhere, but it gives you a bit of damage that will affect minions, I believe, because this is increased damage in general. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. Like, you might as well just get life and resistances, and that's it. You can use a Shide Brief or a Shit Breath, whatever it's called, this thing. This little ammy over here. Extremely common. Like, literally, you get it, like, leveling. It does give you a little bit of maximum life, but that is it. And minion damage. But you might need the stats more than anything else. So, if anything, just get whatever stats you need on the ammy. Right? That's basically up to your budget. Now, very quickly, because I forgot and I'm an idiot, for your Anointment, originally I went with Ravenous Horde simply because it just gives you more damage and it was too out of the way to get. But there was an issue. Whispers of Doom used to be here where Corruption was, where we allowed to get a second curse. And the reason we wanted that was because we do have attempt chains on hit from our, gloves or Ascendancy Gentle Touch. So if you don't have these gloves, completely ignore that. Don't even bother the second curse. But if you do and you want the Orb of Storms to curse temp chains, then you want to anoint Whispers of Doom. That's incredibly expensive, sitting at 3 golds, further making the gloves even more expensive for the build. Otherwise, if it's not within your budget, then you go ahead and just continue using Ravenous Horde as your main anoint, and it only costs 1 green and 2 opalescent oils, which are much cheaper than, of course, the 3 golden for the second curse. For your flask, you want Quicksilver with reduced charges used or additional charges used with movement speed. Life Flask with remove bleed. Sulfur Flask is to give you a little bit of damage, so why not, with remove chill. Divine Mana Flask of warding. This gives you immunity to curses, and this one stays active no matter what, even if your mana's capped out. So I can cast here and I'll never run out of mana. It is very nice. Honestly, it's not really needed too much because we have so much mana regen and everything to serve it, but since minions don't have a lot of flasks they can use, you might as well. There is a Ruby's Concoction if you want that instead, and you can drop the Granite Flask, up to you, but the glass one is a Granite Flask. You can use the Ruby's Concoction to get a little bit more block. Now, as for leveling, honestly, there's not much you really can do because it's a very weird build. But you basically have 2 routes. You use whatever spell you want and go the natural route using, of course, use Wanderlust, use Nocturnal Caress, gloves to give you a little bit of cast speed. I can show you guys right here. Uniques, right here. Boots, we have Wanderlust. Or you can use 7 League Steps if you want more movement speed. Wanderlust are down here. Those are the basic cheap ones you want to buy. 7 League Step if you have a bit of money into your second and third character. Gloves, use Nocturnal Caress if I can find it for a little bit of cast speed, and then helmet to use, of course, your gold rim, your standards for leveling, or a little bit of resistances, and your body armor, of course, use a tablet. I don't have one here, but it's a free 6 link from level 1. Use that, and they're very cheap, like 7 chaos. And you want to basically use whatever spell you want as a witch. I think Freezing Pulse is going to be your best bet, and you can use Life Sprigs for your spell damage and Axiom, or you can do what I did and kind of hate yourself and pick up summon skeletons, at level 1. Try to get a Vault Summon Skeletons and get Infernal Legion at level 8. So use whatever spell until then and start playing the build the way it's supposed to be played. Yeah, and then just rush or Minion Instability. I recommend, instead of going through here, it's in the POB down below. I'll show you guys later. And instead go through here. That way you can pick up mine. Don't pick up Minor Matter. Just go through here. So it costs 2 points less. So you don't have to go through all this. And just rush for Minion Instability if you're playing the Summon Skeleton route early on. And that way they start dying and exploding, and you can just pick up the normal things like minion maximum life, minion damage as you go, and just pick up all the gems naturally as you go. That way, by level 35, you get Emerald's Embrace, which is, I believe, Act 3, Act 4. So you can use this. And then by level 45, 10 levels later, you get Madrigal's Lens. And by that point, make sure to rush for Necromantic Aegis. So if you're going the Summon Skeleton route early on, rush Main Stability, rush Element to Equilibrium your way down. That way, your Orb of Storms gives them minus 50 fire, res, and rush Necromantic Aegis. That's what you want to do at level 45. Don't get it before level 45. Bad idea. And that pretty much covers the leveling. Honestly, there's not much else I can give you. Just, you know, you're going to be struggling a little bit since it's a minion build, but I believe in you. I'm not a minion specialist. I apologize. So you're going to have to do your best with the information that I can give you. Now, moving on very quickly to our POB. What I am using is, of course, the community fork of Path of Building. I highly recommend that you guys download it. The link will be down below as well. If you guys are having issues in uploading this, you're getting some code error, make sure you're using the community fork. It is not the same as the standard version. They're both updated naturally, but one is a completely different program. Keep that in mind. So with that, that should fix your issue if you have that sort of problem. But here you guys see we have 3 different trees: early game, mid game, and end game. Right? Starting with early game, really the only much you can do is we go up here, pick up all the minion stuff. Right? We could pick up Arcane Will for mana regen. Quite nice. Lord of the Dead, that's really only if you're going to go the Summon Skeleton route for leveling, life and mana, get a little bit of casting spell damage. Again, more minion stuff if you're going minion route. I highly recommend for after this going for minion instability. You come here, get a little bit of AoE. Very nice, right next to it. Right? Do not pick up Matter yet. Forgot to remove that. Don't pick up Jewels yet. This is life and mana. Come down here, more life, and you get some little bit of damage in general. And I believe that gets cast speed. Yes, very, very nice. More minion life stuff. Get Element to Equilibrium, just way your minion stability does more damage. The bias point, Orb of Storms, you get an Act 1, so it'll be very nice. More mana stuff, mana regen, and life. Right? That pretty much does beginning. As for your mid-game tree, we continue on. We pick up the rest of the stuff. Instead of going through here, you will go up here and then spec out of these 2 nodes because they don't do anything for us. We get the mana, life, and there. Death Attunement for an additional max skeleton, bunch of minion maximum life. Come here, we get the rest of our life nodes and Spiritual Way to get a lot more minion damage and stuff like that. Right? As for your left side, by this point, you should have your Necromancer would have all these 3 nodes up here. So, with that in mind, we have Bone Barrier, and that way we can use Dynamo, which is very nice, increase maximum mana. At this point, you already have Mind Over Matter, so you can pick that up. Right? And we do pick up Battle Ross for even more mana and go through Constitution. So it's very, very nice. At this point, you should be using your shield. So make sure to, like I said earlier, go through here and pick it up. I know we don't want this energy shield, but it's the only way we can get it because I'm definitely not going to go down through here to get that stuff. So, and here we have more mana and minion damage. So it's very, very nice. And a little bit of movement speed over here. As for your large tree, really the only thing that happens is we get the Cluster Jewel at the end of the day. And that counts for basically from level 71 points to 91 points you see here. And that's pretty much the last thing you'll get. These are not expensive because people are not really buying them. But the minion node itself, the large cluster jewel, is expensive. So go for that. As for the ones you want to prioritize, medium ones, always get Hulking Corpses. I went for Dread Marshal, but just get Hulking Corpses. And whatever other minion node gives you damage and maximum life. As for your large one, Feasting Fiends is quite nice. Call the Slaughter is also quite nice to get our minions moving, and then just Raise the Pillars to give our minions a higher chance to ignite. Honestly, if I have to pick, they don't matter. Just get Feasting Fiends and one of the other 2. The large one barely matters. It's the medium ones that are absolutely insane, and that's why we pick up a large cluster jewel in general. Right? So that pretty much covers that. Leveling progress. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments below. Pantheon, you guys want Soul of Brine King because we're going to have some issues getting stunned a lot. So please make sure to pick that up as Mind Over Matter builds have that issue. And then minor one does not matter. Just pick whatever you want. I went Soul of Yugo because it says minions on it. Whatever. If anything, it's pick Shoshikari so you take reduced damage over time. Right? And that pretty much covers that. As for Alera, we have... I mean, not for Alera. As for Bandits, that's not often a pick Alera. You just kill all of them since we don't crit. We don't do anything related to Bandits. We just want the skill points. So just flat out murder all of them. And with that, that pretty much covers the entire build. I hope you guys enjoyed what you saw. So if you guys have any questions, because you might most likely will do, please consider joining the Discord or ask me any questions in the comments down below. I'll do my best to answer them. And if you guys do end up playing this build and have a lot of fun with it, please let me know. This is a very strange build, so you know, getting new players to play something like this is kind of, you know, a cool thing for me. And if you're a new player and you're interested in this, go have fun, go at it, bro, and let me know how it fares for you, because I think this is an awesome build to try out for something a little bit different than the usual, you know, Impulse Cyclone and all that, you know, meta builds out there, especially Poison BV. So with that, guys, I'll catch you in the next informative video or build guide. Hope you have a good one, and see you then.